Some reports date back to 1994 with recommendations on school unrest and arson. However, successive administrations have allowed the proposals collect dust on shelves. Failure to implement multiple government reports on school fires and unrest is to blame for more lives being lost in schools. And more lives could be lost if top ministry officials and the country's leadership continue playing hide-and-seek games. The government is yet to fully implement recommendations of its own reports, some put forward by special investigations teams on school unrests. The reports date back to 1994, including the government-appointed Kirima Task Force, which studied student strikes and arson in schools. In 2001, the government appointed another team, the Task Force on Student Discipline and Unrest in Secondary Schools, whose verdict mirrored findings of the Kirima team. And in 2016, the government appointed the Claire Omolo Task Force, which restated the recommendations of the last two teams in detail. Are you understanding?
Yeah.
Another task force came in, recommended the previous one. The previous one had recommended the one before that.
So basically,
2016 came, recommended the last two.
So basically, the very first task force gave us the solution that would be implemented throughout these other task forces.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have we implemented it? No. So, many years later, a spot check across schools reveals sheer negligence of the set regulations as laid standards of student safety are grossly breached. Other reports are the Naomi Wangai report of 2001 and the David Coet report of 2008. An analysis of these education reports on student unrest reveals several recommendations have been fronted to contain the growing menace. The most recent findings are contained in the 2016 Task Force report chaired by Claire Omolo, which laid bare causes of school fires, especially during the second term, which is where we are now. In the Omolo report, the team recommended that all boarding schools must meet prescribed standards as set by the ministry before they are registered and students admitted. Before. What borders impunity is that the recommendations of another government document titled Safety Standards Manuals for Schools, released in 2008, also remains largely on paper. In all the reports, streamlining boarding schools and establishing functional guidance and counseling departments in schools were key. Increased involvement of student leaders in decision-making, reducing tests ahead of national examinations, and training members of school boards on education management was also highlighted. Other proposals made in the reports were suggested review of the curriculum to introduce lower secondary and reducing the number of boarding schools. Years on, school unrest debate remains a topic discussed in hushed tones in staff rooms and even in ministry offices. School heads are also on the spot for failing to implement directives issued by the Teacher Service Commission to enhance student safety and improve vigilance. The Omolo report unearthed major administrative flaws in schools and existence of backward criminal practices and punishable oversights that sparked off student unrest in schools. So what does that last line tell you? That it is not just the students who say kuna weevils kwa maharagwe or tuna wanaweka kerosene kwa chakula. No. It's beyond tunapigwa sana. What have you been told here? That sometimes teachers will collude and say, you guys, amjachoka, amtaki kwenda nyumbani, start something. What have we said here? Punishable oversights that spark off students' unrest in school, existence of backward criminal practices, and punishable oversights that spark off students' unrest in schools. When you have such a heavy indictment that is to be sorted out by a commission, and then the commission does its work, it gives you a report, why is it collecting dust on a shelf somewhere? To me, it is crazy that in 2026, 10 years after this Omolo report, the things that they said in that report are not to be implemented. Mind you, this was an amalgamation of the previous reports that were done. Davy Koech, 2008. Kirima 2 in 2004, before Kirima 1. So, it bust my brain. I don't...
Remember, the report that dates back to 1994 goes back to the first incident that happened in 1991. So from 1994 to 2026, we've not done anything to change the story. Where is the ministry? We asked about quality checks. We have quality checks on paper. Do you think even these principals know?
What are you talking about? Did you not hear what this thing said? Before students are admitted, before those schools are even registered, there is a standard of quality that they must have met.
Yep.
Who is the person that is sure that this quality of standard